the representative for Mysore and Kodagu as a member of parliament, and we from the central government under the Prime Minister, I'm sure you all are aware, are aiming to build towards the Viksit Bharat in 2047, that is the complete economic development of India. So all our economic parameters need to be commensurate with those of completely economic developed nations, and certainly India's challenge is incorporating all of the great works that modern society or economically developed societies are doing at the same rate while being an economically developing country. So this challenge India has a uniquely facing, be it in sustainability, where we are trying to be a green economy while developing, where others have developed by emitting all these greenhouse gases, and certainly the same challenge we have in cybersecurity, where we need that technology now. We can't wait to be a completely economically developed country to have the best technology at dealing with these cyber threats. So under the guidance of our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, and the leadership of our Union Home Minister, Shri Amit Shah, we've launched this very ambitious multi-tiered strategy to counter cybercrime and enhance national cyber resilience. This is being anchored at the I4C, or the Indian Cybercrime Coordination Center, and this being led by the Home Ministry is the central hub to prevent, detect, investigate and prosecute cyber fraud across India. We are building this digital fortress, combining rescue operations, cyber commandos, legal frameworks, AI tools, citizen reporting, crypto regulation, and all being coordinated under the Home Ministry and the I4C. As you are well aware, the issue we have is, of course, of talent. We need an active force which should be engaging at all times and be a watchdog in the digital world, as we have at our borders and policing on our streets. And the Cyber Commando initiative is the key component of that. We aim to have 5,000 specialized cyber commandos in 5 years, and the training is being conducted at the various IITs, triple IITs, and of course at the Rashtriya Raksha University as well, National Forensic Universities, to engage the students coming out towards providing this career option for them and becoming part of this wonderful force. So far, 247 commandos have been trained in the first phase. Apart from that, we know a lot of these cash outs we're unable to trace because it's being converted to cryptocurrency. We've seen those cases, Dubai, Cambodia, where not all of the agents who are standing on Chinese shoulders and doing such work. And the issue is we need awareness, we need training and understanding of how these transactions happen. So we're also training our already existing police force, around 6,000 police personnel, into understanding crypto investigations and how to trace that. A cryptocurrency center of excellence is being set up under the aegis of I4C, and we're of course procuring specialized crypto forensic tools so that we can trace across borders as well, to properly understand and create a framework alongside also prosecuting such criminals and ensuring justice is being brought to them. AI is of course the greatest tool we have of modern times. We're in that revolution currently, and we're going forward, and certainly all of the great good that AI is there and the tools that come from it are also being used to engage and understand and create this cyber dome as we move forward. The facial recognition, be AI generated threats, and of course reviewing existing IT laws and bringing them up to the 21st century so that we can deal with cyber threats effectively is also something that we are engaging with. The one aspect and one pillar which is key, what Cyberverse has been doing, and now even the central government has been aiming to really push through at a greater agenda, is the awareness program. It starts at home really, and with technology in the greater sense, it is so new and so rapidly evolving and coming with us at such a speed that often as times mannerisms and behaviors which traditionally our parents and elders taught us isn't very apparent in this field. At often times it's the younger generation teaching the older generation. So the simple act of locking your door in the digital world, not taking sweets from strangers or not talking to strangers, in the digital world the equivalents are unknown. And this active awareness program is required to be disseminated throughout the country, and we're using of course all of the FM radio, online ad, mobile alerts, theaters, etc. to disseminate this information, as well as programs across schools towards ensuring that children, adults, elders, all alike are understanding the threats that come from the cyber world. And we are also being the first level of preservation of security ourselves before, of course, the authorities, etc., can take hold. Lastly, we know cybersecurity has no borders. Largely, the perpetrators of cybercrime do not recognize borders. We have only recently learned of the cyber trafficking, where some Indians were used in certain states in the southeast to, because of their knowledge of English and of local Indian customs and traditions, to create fraud, to create, or be perpetrators of that fraud, while being actually kept essentially like slave labor in those places. So international operations and victim rescue is a key agenda point, and proactively working with the embassies and the Interpol or the other various international organizations towards ensuring that we are working within the legal framework we have as nation states, but also building a framework that is resilient towards these perpetrators of cybercrime who do not recognize these international borders or these states. So we have been successfully rescued 3,700 Indians since 2022 via the I4C. All of these initiatives have brought a paradigm shift in India's internal security doctrine. We have transitioned from a reactive policing to a proactive digital defense. By fusing technology, legislation, skilled manpower, and diplomacy, India is building a robust cyber defense architecture capable of addressing both domestic and international threats. These are some of the succinct points that the Government of India is working on, and certainly we both, as wearing the hat of a policymaker via the Government of India, and of course also as a chairman and as a stakeholder in a cybersecurity initiative, are all, I think, working towards this same goal of building a cyber-resilient India and bringing the tools and the necessary framework towards creating India and ensuring it is at the forefront of cybersecurity going forward. And I'm sure the outcomes of this conference also will deal very much in these same agenda points. So I won't keep you much longer. I'm sure there are very many wonderful panels here and very many interesting takeaways. I'm sure we will all be much for the better in terms of our knowledge of cybersecurity at the end of this conference. I'm sure the discussions, the networking, the many friends we make will lead to greater outcomes for India and I'm sure the world at large. I thank you all for inviting me here this morning, and I hope this conference grows to greater heights, as I already mentioned. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.